Hey guys, we're back down in the planting room. Everybody's sleeping, so time for me to get some work done. It's about that time of the year to start the long process of trying to get peppers to grow in my climate. It's an uphill battle. For those of you who don't know, I live in northwestern Ontario, which means we have a really short growing season. We can't really get plants in the ground till beginning of June 1st, and you can only really count to the beginning of September to get really good growing weather. If you get any more, then you're just it's just a good it's a good year. I find with peppers, even if I get good weather in mid-September, the plants really start slowing down on their productivity. So you really have to have large plants to transplant out so that they do the majority of their production in the midsummer when you get really strong sunlight. I've been working on getting a successful pepper harvest now for about 4 years. The results have been hit or miss. Last year, what ended up happening was I put the plants out, I think it was just after May long weekend, which is the third week in May for us. And we had a really late frost and most of them were killed off. That was really disappointing. The plants that survived, the problem is they start producing peppers really late. So third or last week in August is when they really start putting peppers, setting peppers. And it's just not enough time left in the growing season for those peppers to develop. So consequently, the fall frost comes and you've got a bunch of golf ball or small sized peppers on your plants. So the goal this year is to start the plants a little bit earlier inside. Last year, I looked back at my logbook, I was about the last week in March when I ended up starting the seeds inside. We're March 8th today, so today is going to be the day when I start the peppers. Again, hopefully to get a much more mature plant by the time it's due to go outside. Now, originally when I was planting all these seeds inside, I started off with the standard 72 cell trays. I really don't, not a big fan of these. I always have a lot of trouble removing the plants from the cells, damaging the roots, and the leaves for that matter. So if I'm going to pot up plants when I'm growing them inside, I prefer to use these guys. They are 30 plant starter packs. I got them off Vessies. Basically what they take are these 2-inch pots. They just sit in there. There's a little tray underneath to hold a little bit of a water reservoir. So that's nice. I have a tendency of forgetting to water my seedlings. It's not very good, but that's just what happens. And the nice thing about these, this setup is you can replace just the pots, which I find work quite well. When you go to transplant, you just dump the pot and the plant pops out just like it would from a larger pot. So it works really well. You can transplant without doing any damage to the plants, and they just keep right on growing. So I'm going to be starting a variety of peppers today. Again, it's really tricky to grow them here, but we eat a lot of them and they're quite expensive for us to buy. So if I do manage to figure out how to do this successfully, it'll be worth it for us. The main pepper that I plant is not actually a bell pepper at all, but it's a sweet, elongated pepper. It's called Super Shepherd. The seeds are very inexpensive compared to some hybrid bell peppers. So that one's going to be the majority of the plants that go in the ground. What else do I have? I have Key West for banana peppers. and a jalapeno pepper. If those work, I'm not going to plant too many. I think only about 4 plants each for those. If those work, we're going to try pickling them. That would be an interesting little project. There's long red cayenne. We dry those and grind it up for chili powder. And then something that I know is definitely not going to work, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. I tried it last year. Plants didn't go anywhere. Is a habanero pepper. For comparison, in terms of heat, the jalapenos have a heat rating of about 6,000 on the Scottsville chart. Their 6,000 is pretty hot. The habanero has 200,000, 200 to 300,000 on the Scottsville chart. Again, I've tried these a couple years now. The habaneros. The plants get to about 2 inches high, and they just seem to run out of gas. They just don't like the climate. I'll try again and see what happens. So I'm gonna fill all these little pots with soil. Give them a little bit of water to dampen the soil and get planting. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, all done. I ended up planting, let me see, 15, 18 Super Shepherd plants, 4 jalapeno plants, 2 habanero plants, 2 long red cayenne pepper plants, and 7 banana pepper plants. 7 banana peppers. Yeah, that's right. So, and I threw in 2 eggplants. I forgot to mention that eggplants. I tried them last year, and the plants didn't go anywhere. So we're gonna give the eggplants a couple more weeks of time to grow and develop indoors before we transplant them outside. So all in all, 30 tray of 30 plants. This will do an entire half of one of my beds. At 1 foot spacing, I can get 27 plants in half of one of those beds. So this works out nice. 30 plants, I plant 27. I keep the others just in case something happens, bugs get them, or they just don't take for the transplants. So yeah, so that's all done. It's good. I just checked on the onion seedlings, the onion plants that I started last week, and they are just starting to come through the surface, as you can see here. So they will be uncovered and going under the grow lights, and we'll keep checking them. So again, I'm going to be pruning them when the main leaf gets to 5 inches. According to the instructions, 5 inches long, you prune them back to 3 inches to develop a thicker stalk on them. One last thing to mention is we are still working our way through the 170 pounds of squash that we took out of the garden last year. So this is one of our 6-pound spaghetti squashes. It's been sitting in our cold room for 6 months now, and it's storing incredibly well. It's actually ripening up ever so slightly. We've been cooking these, every week, every 2 weeks we go through one of them. And yeah, they're keeping really well. So that's about it for now. The next thing that I'm going to be planting is the tomato plants. They were a little bit small last year, so I'm going to be planting them about a week earlier. Not exactly sure when that was. I'll have to check the logbook. But until then, I'll see you later.